and my husband did the bike and the run. This year I'm swimming and biking, and my daughter, because she'll turn 18, is doing the run, and my husband's doing the whole thing. Next year, and my husband did the bike and the run. This year I'm swimming and biking, and my daughter, because she'll turn 18, will be down doing the run. It's such a fun next year, and my husband did the bike and run.
A lot of jokes. Sorry.
Oh, technology, I tell you.
This stressful.
Yeah, if you haven't made it down there just to check out that event, just being there in that atmosphere, definitely. It is cool. I mean, it's not just it's an international. It's incredible what they do, and they have chose our city. So it's a very big deal, and the professionalism of the Ironman team is amazing. So if you haven't got a chance to check it out, definitely do that. How about one more? Dragon Boat?
I said, what if I had two?
Yeah, let's hear it. Yeah, let's hear it.
I really enjoyed the World Beat Festival and Pride in the Park.
Yes, yes. I love World Beat. It's so good. That one's right around my daughter's birthday, so it almost feels like it's an annual event to go like for her birthday. And it is so fun. I love how it keeps changing and evolving, and if you miss 1 year, you missed something. So it's been around for a long time, but it's still so good. And the food is so good, yeah. And then Pride in the Park, well, that has grown so much. Yeah, that is a huge event that they put on. And they do it in 1 day. A lot of events that size, they'll set up at least something the day before and spend the next day cleaning. So but they're there, they get that thing set up, and they do this massive event, and then they leave. It's pretty incredible that a local team puts on the event. So, yeah, events continue to grow at Riverfront Park. They grow in many ways. We're getting more events. We're also, the events, like Pride is a great example, but the events that started locally, maybe something small, they continue to grow in size, and what they're bringing is for production, for infrastructure, all these things year after year they continue to grow, and that's the same projection that we are seeing into the next year. Has anybody seen it? Has it? It's almost like leaked what the big concert is.
I did, and I totally found.
That's one of the bands playing.
Oh, cool, yeah, okay, so there is a big concert. All I'm going to say is there's even more to come. There's a big concert coming to the park. It's been years that this production company actually has been interested, and I've been in communication with them. That they've been wanting to bring something, so they're actually doing it. More is to come, more is to be announced, so keep your ears pinned on that.
So just so I know, it's the same group that puts on Rise Up
Yep.
up in Redmond.
Yes, yeah.
Awesome, yeah, they do a phenomenal job and they're all over the nation.
Yeah, they're all over the nation, a wonderful group, they've been phenomenal to work with, and I'm excited to see what they're doing. They're expecting a very large event, so large, in fact, they can't do it at the amphitheater. They're going to be taking over the big meadow in Riverfront, so there's more room. So thousands of people coming for that, and just keep your eyes open for what they're still going to announce. That would be very exciting.
That's good. Couple questions.
Yeah.
Are they going to be using the actual amphitheater or are they gonna build their own stages?
They're going to build their own stage, just because the amphitheater, the capacity there, if it's all standing shoulder to shoulder, max capacity is 5,000. Most events aren't going to do that. They're going to use that facility for like 3,500, so you sit and spread out. If it's all standing, you can get 5,000 in there, and that's what our egress is actually maximized at, and that means exits. So making sure it has enough exits. This event, it could be up to 3 times that. So we're talking like max capacity. In their wildest dreams, if everything went right, they will set the limit to sales on 15,000.
And it's just a 1-day event?
No, maybe just keep your eyes open.
We can't even talk the inside scoop, and it's over here. Right, but
Keep your eyes open, maybe more to come on that.
can you confirm who is coming? Do you have
No,
that?
actually, I
Didn't
think,
somebody announce that?
yes, it has
I
been
I
leaked
saw
a little
those
bit.
social media.
I can,
On social media, I've seen things about Ice Cube, I've seen Slightly Stupid, yeah, but.
I saw Ice Cube, Slightly Stupid, The Elevators, Denim. Carly Denim. It's pretty, those are great names, those are much bigger names than we're gonna be at Redmond's.
Yeah,
Very
I'm very excited about it. I'll be there,
I was like,
I'll have my badge and I'll be officially working.
Anything else you can tell us that has not been publicly like?
No, unfortunately not. I'll let them do their big announcement. There'll be a big blowout. But this is a wonderful group for us to build this relationship with. And it will serve as a learning experience, even with like we're having conversations with the police department, right? When we're talking about that many people downtown, which we've done before, but a concert is a little bit different, especially a concert with a headliner. That means you're gonna be at max capacity, releasing all at once, Front Street and the highway. How do we get everybody to and from safely? So knowing that we wanna do a lot of this type of event, this will serve as our chance to test things out, work out some kinks so we can get better and better down the line. So there will be some learnings along the way, I'm sure. We're having all those conversations now, and this group is a great one because they could do a lot more like this. Whether it's this genre, or they're talking about some other genres such as country, for instance. That anybody who's going to bring this large of event, they're going to have to build an audience for it. And they're going to have to kind of see what really Salem's interested in, what's going to do well. So we'll probably test out a couple of things, and they're a group that could. To our cards. It's fun to be working with.
Is there a prospective date yet for that big event?
Yeah, so that's going to be on August 1st.
So like in the future, do you see the amphitheater being utilized for?
Yeah, and that's, I think it's going to be a middle ground. When you're doing like this size of festival and you're hoping for that large of head count, the amphitheater won't work for you. But there's plenty of artists in that range, and if it's going to be like one headliner and one opener, that's a little different. You can pull in the range that you see at the amphitheater, but there's going to be ones like this, where if they're going to come set up the whole thing, they're going to want that big count and be where they are.
Because I've seen it in the other one where they have multiple stages.
Yes, yeah, and that's exciting too. You see some, even like Pride in the Park, they do that. There's events now that will use multiple stages set up, and I'd love to see that where we have both stages itself kind of going. I think that would be a really fun environment. And I think there's room for that sort of thing. And the production companies that can put on a festival, they typically also do just venue events as well. So you know, if we can build a relationship with this group and they know what we have, what facilities they have, they know what artists are going to be around, they can quickly draw one in as well. And so that's what I'm hoping to see in the future.
Awesome, nice job.
Yeah, we're
Really
really excited about it. It will be fun. Another one that just to get you guys excited, who made it to the Capital City Retro Fest last year? That's a fun one. It is just a good time, and they're coming back, and they won Best New Music Festival in Oregon. And their first year at our amphitheater was last year. And so they're another more local production company. They put on some more local, like very Willamette Valley music festivals. And they do a 3-day event, and I might get it backwards, but it's all cover bands, but the first day is like 70s cover bands. Second day is like cover bands from the 80s, and the third day is cover bands from the 90s. And it was just a great fun event last year, and that one's mid-August. Very family friendly and just perfect, and it just felt like quintessential summer concert series. It was really fun. They're coming back today, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that one as well. But our lineup of events, if you look at just the amphitheater alone, we had 50 event days last summer at the amphitheater. So it's a lot of things happening, and these are just a couple of highlights. Not my favorites, I'm not picking favorites, but I'm just doing some highlights of.
I saw, and this may not be something you want to speak to, but I saw something on social media that was like a news post that I think was the city council considering some upgrades to the infrastructure. We're tied to speak to that actually.
Secondly, Councilor Hagan, thank you so much. It was wonderful for us to just receive support, and that's definitely what we're taking it as. So somebody to raise their hand and say, hey, there might be some funding somewhere. I would love to be able to put that towards the amphitheater. It's my understanding that that's moved to the city manager's office, and they're going to move forward with that function. So I think it sounded like at the meeting that they will probably pull in a group to do some sort of report. This would be the best place for investment, because we do have barriers for that facility. You know very well, like the barriers of the facility, to make it something where it's really easy for these events to move in. Things like fencing, things like potties, things like even having lifts there to get your audio up and down. You have to rent a lift, things like that. So there's actually quite a bit of investments that we could potentially make that would make it easier for these events to move in and the venue to be more attractive, ready to use, that sort of thing. So having somebody take a look at that is very welcome, and I'm excited. I know I have a lot of ideas. A lot of people, my colleagues, we talk about it often, like, ooh, what could we do? Like, what is the improvements? What can we do to make this better and more welcoming to events? And so it would be great to have somebody else to take a look and see what those investments could be.
Just curious, so in putting together that group of people that actually make those decisions on, hey, this is what we need to do. I know in the previous, when we built the amphitheater, there's massive limitations on who we can bring in, what we can do. So how do you decide on who's gonna be a part of that group that makes those big decisions so that we can expand?
Yeah, and I don't know what that will look like. That's why people much higher than me are going to make those decisions. So I think it's going to be a report, it sounds like, and maybe the counselor could has a better idea. Some sort of report will get done, saying these are the options, where it will go from there. I think you bring up a great point though, of like, there are so many details. And it's what is it? What is the one thing? Where can we put the money? Because like I said, I have a lot of ideas. I'm sure you have a lot of ideas. You're like, ooh, if we could have some funding, what would that be? And just like you guys run into all the time, there's lots of great ideas, but it's what are going to be benefits, what are going to be the drawbacks, right? Because I could say, oh, it's that lot. It's a lot on Front Street and Commercial, turn that into a parking garage, that will solve everything. And everybody in this room will be like, the problems I would actually see with doing that are immense, but from my point of view, I'm seeing it one way. So how do we get enough points of view, put it in, to choose those specific things? And that's what the experts will be doing, hopefully, is we get some eyes on it. It's going to be making choices.
So there will be involvement, because there's talk of it being a temporary rule, so this group will be involved, staff.
I just am curious, like, instead of hiring maybe outside sources, Salem, why would we not ask people that actually put on events that have been successful in the past, like Tom Phone, like yourself, Scott, like these things, like, I'd rather have those people in the room than hiring somebody, a national outside source as a consultant.
Right, I
Just an
agree.
opinion.
I agree too, and hopefully the people making the report will do all those things. I would hope so, because I agree too. I think those are great ideas. And that's where you're going to find the real gold. What could be those improvements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Actually, yeah.
That's some study.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Study.
Right.
Yeah,
Just make sure we have the right people.
so the funding, some of the funding.
Potentially, we have to look at it. So some of the things you mentioned, I mean, there's removable gates or things on wheels. We have to do capital improvements, so that's what it's.
Well, thank you.
Tigan, do you have anything else that you wanted to add?
Yeah, I'll just add a couple things. Thank you for previewing the summer. It sounds like it's going to be a fun one at Riverfront, and I think that's the whole goal. And based on conversations we've had at the advisory board and other conversations I've had with folks, the question is really, is there a way we can use urban renewal dollars? So we took this action. This motion came from the Urban Renewal Agency, not from the city council. And that matters in that the funding source to make these types of improvements aren't general fund dollars. They're not anything like that. They'd be coming out of the Riverfront downtown urban renewal area dollars. So like Tori said, there's a little bit of a limitation on what we could actually spend those dollars on. But what we definitely can do is study the issue. And I don't expect they would hire national consultants who do this sort of thing for a living. They might use the city's consulting contracts to convene people who have used Riverfront Park in order to understand what the barriers are and potential gaps. And those are the kinds of things I'd like to see elevated, brought back to this committee to see, if there was the opportunity to invest in additional facilities around the amphitheater to make it more effective. What would be the biggest bang for our buck on that? And these sorts of events that if someone's building a second stage just for a weekend, like you said, the lessons learned for an event like that, I think are really critical for a process like this. So I'm expecting that we'll have some folks with their ears open when that event is over and, another summer of events happens. So it's definitely see it as the goal here was to support what the city's doing and to make it better and not, to try and, finger wag or tell someone they could be done better. I think it's just how can we, turn up the amplifier a little bit.
And well, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it. I think there's lots of possibilities, lots of room for growth, so we can have everyone's support, and hopefully I'll see you out there this summer at an event. And you guys have
I have
any
a question. There's a question.
Oh, yes.
I heard you're hiring consultant and so forth, but have you used local resources? One person that comes to my mind is Tom Fone, who runs the Elsinore Theater.
To be
So
honest,
organized.
Ernesto, the motion just directed the urban renewal staff to conduct the work. It didn't tell them how to do it. And so if they decide to hire a consultant, I think what I had heard from the city manager in conversations was that based on the capacity of the staff at this point, it'd be likely that they'd use a consultant to help them get the work done.
So, but I still stick to my question. Have you guys considered using local resources?
I really, I'll be encouraging it. I don't get to be the decision maker, but I'll definitely be encouraging it. And I know it's part of the conversation. I think it will be really important that we hear from people.
I would encourage
Are
you to
local
do
and use it. So I definitely hear you, and I think that's a great idea. I'll do my best
Thank
to
you.
pass it on for you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Jeff, do you have any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we're going to learn about the Marion Park Cave construction. Dun, 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 dun.
So, as you guys probably noticed, it started early April. It's gonna be conducted in 3 phases. Right now, we're in phase 1, and that's early April, that's in late July. We're on to phase 2, which is late July to early October, and then phase 3 will be early October to estimated in late November. Hoping to be done. In phase 1, we're planning to, as you see, they've taken over the High Street side, east side of the parkade. They've closed off the exit entrance on that side, but there are the 2 entrances and exits, so on the Union side, the street side was functional. They put in multiple signage for redirecting traffic inside of the signs. For permit holders, first phase, they're not really affected. Because it's not like holders on second floor on the east side, so the second floor is not, no permit holders. The roof permit holders and people subject to jury, they just have to park on the west side. So there will be some night work. May to early June. That is Liberty side, High Street side, because they have to get to Crane, they are shutting 2 lanes of traffic. Southbound traffic. So at the cottage. During those hours. And it's because 2 lanes are being shut down. They are applying for permits, sound permits. So that's sort of notifying people. Okay. They're also shutting down 1 lane, Marion. 2 also have to go in. Phase 2 will be very similar to phase 1, just on the west side. But since there's a lot of permit holders on the west side, they will be reassigning permit spots on the second level, east side, and on also put up correct signage for any permit holders, so they know where to go. They'll also put up signs for directing traffic. During the second phase, the Liberty side will be shut down, but they'll remain to have Union Street side open, and they'll reopen High Street side. There will also be some night work scheduled for that. It will be in September. Although last I saw them shutting down 2 lanes northbound on Liberty. But it looks like they're setting up flaggers to use the turn. So it's go through. In phase 3, it's going to be primary roof work. And they're going to shut down all of the roof. All the roofs that are uncovered. Some degree will be redirected to first floor north side. During that time period, that would be from October to November. And during that time, we shut down Union Street entrance and exit, because they're actually going to close off that entrance and exit to accommodate the new pedestrian travel from like the right. It's all of this is the big goal to make it, as I brought in the rendering, to kind of give you a point to make it more visible, make it more usable, make it feel a little safer. More lighting, and you see the rendering.
I haven't heard any negatives from the tenants that use it,
Okay,
so I think they're doing a good job.
perfect.
I would say the same thing. I also work at the Small Business Development Center, so CCBI. They're not affected as employees because we have our own parking lot, but really the students there's been no negative feedback. There's a lot of it. One question that I have for you is, how is parking enforcement approaching this? Are they showing is your leeway with the confusion?
So I've been working with Lance Jones, he's the parking supervisor. I know in the initial setup, we showed a lot of relaxed because of a lot of events coming up, spine changes, redirection, so it has been relatively relaxed in the beginning. I'm not sure now that we're a few weeks in, how we stay on it, but I'm coordinating a lot. I used to be a parking officer, so I try to plan on what's gonna be next, so. We will definitely look into next time when the permit starts and we start relocating permit holders. That will be the big one that we pay attention to.
Just curious.
As far as communications, you all were notified.
Yeah.
Yeah, we put notifications on the parquet, on the stairwells, elevators. We also send out.
I had, kind of like. Or like asked if there was going to be like a secure bike parking sort of situation. They used to have like the storage boxes and people kind of using them as campsites, but I didn't know if those were coming back or something.
As far as right now, I haven't.
Okay.
Talked about.
Maybe like one of those, like bike walking. Circles there, or is it just purely?
I haven't heard anything specific.
And I see there's no greenery coming back either, is there?
Oh, in the rendering? I don't think I haven't heard it on the landscape side.
Well, I mean, they took it all out.
Yeah, because it's all gone. The north side has lots of green on the side of the side. There's a lot of the side. Not the rest of it.
No, I think it's like the walls, removing things that could be barriers. I think that is that some of that safety perception.
The big one is the brick wall at the bottom, where they're making that perforated edge, sheet metal. So they get more visible. You know, there's.
It's the mercy approach.
Well, it's one of those interesting conversations because it's a public facility and so it's like, anyway, yeah, we're encroaching our own
Yeah,
space.
yeah. Yeah, it must be fabulous, because otherwise I would hear. So,
I just think it was well thought out.
as long as, you know, for the holidays, you did it all. Right?
Yeah, that's the goal. So
Yeah.
it's a big deal that time. So,
Great, thank you.
yeah.
For now, the next is Critical Path Project, which is exciting as well. Oh.
Second one, I have presentation. I'm actually filling in for Brian Banta, who's a project manager. He's at a wedding. Week. I want you guys to stay and praise him, as he does, but there's a lot happening right now. They just had on the house last week. Again, it goes back to the noticing. Everyone can be available, get the information and track it. So we did have the open house. There's a survey also that went out. So when that comes to me and try to get it out to you, we're doing it multiple times. The survey closed on Friday, so I haven't had a chance to take a look at that. There's something to do late, let me know. So you have a chance to, what's the notification?
So I didn't get it.
Okay.
I got from you,
Yeah,
but I didn't get it.
I'll have to check with Ryan to see, yeah, so Philip versus managing, and I'll have to check with him to see.
A lot of times it's like
Right.
500 feet.
Yeah, I'll have to check with him. I'll ask you.
Day of February 26th, that's just to track it, that's what it initially arranged, so that's been. That's the preparation for the open house and. Survey. So the purpose behind it. It's basically what we'll cover over the presentation, some of the background, scope, schedule, budget, and then some of the design alternatives, which is feedback that's being solicited by the open house and survey. So what this project does in red is it links the existing paths, pathing network that follows Pringle Creek. You walk that route, it goes up to the hospital. And then this will connect to Riverfront Park and Toronto. This is that section. When you can see the new concrete faintly on Commercial Street, when that bridge was constructed, the ramp on the east side and where it will connect to, that all that work is done. So if you've gone around there, there's barricading, fencing underneath the Commercial Street bridge. This will go beneath Commercial Street. Any questions on this connection? Lighting, so if there's already a connection like this under Liberty, so if you come from City Hall underneath, mark that one. Accessibility is similar, I think. The feedback, my understanding is from that approach is that it could use more lighting. So hopefully it'll be more lit. This is a lot more, this will be two undercrossing essentially because it connects these two paths in blue. So you'll have a direct shot from the Pringle approach, then you'll have the other connection from the south. So both of those will be on underneath Commercial Street with walking around it. Yeah, there's actually some graphics on the handout packet to show like, and I think some of the feedback will be make sure it's lit well.
How did you do all that work? Drawing the boards, drawing Pringle Creek, how did you do the work about constructing all this stuff?
Have to do it carefully.
I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, they make it fun.
Yeah,
Now they're gonna
absolutely.
go in and start.
Yeah, they'll be held to standard. Sensitive to waterway and then planting and everything else, so yeah, it'll be. I know they've talked about working from the side and having a station there, and then the street side. There's been talk about utilizing block the right side, but that's been developments intended there. We would set out that that will depend on where the progression of the project is. So this is some of the background too, as far as we had the Pringle Creek daylighting restoration 2019. The right side is what it looks like now. So the lower point is the path will run parallel on the north side of Pringle Creek. As far as connection, we'll talk about it, the concept, but ultimately what we'll do is connect those path networks. They'll follow Pringle Creek parallel to it on the north side, and then I'll go underneath the train trestle too. This is general concept as far as incorporating trail treatment, the approach, overlooks. When we get to the design concepts, there's a linear approach and then more of a curved linear approach. Both incorporate some kind of overlook. In this case, it's between the trestle and Churchill Street, where you can congregate and overlook the creek and look west toward the front. Is this something you can email to us? Sure. Yeah. Yeah, so then with the grade differential, there'll be terracing, plantings, a lot of work, art walls, so a lot of different things that will be featured as you take the path. Staircase in on the west side. So they're doing ramp instead of the staircase. So, and I'll get into the design a little bit more. Yeah, around. So this is conceptual rendering, show the same thing. How the path will run parallel to the creek, but it will look like. Cool.
It's about time. That, that beautiful river.
Yeah.
It's through the city, and it's not been
There's a really neat
highlighted.
connection to go from. It's Friday, said they close on Friday, he's going through on Monday, so we're probably done, for sure by next meeting. So as far as the timing, so preliminary design started September to July, have the house in April, final design goes through. So construction for procurement will be from June to September 27. Construction starts in October and goes through December.
Well, it's not that far away.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. Yeah. Which are the funding. That's the next one, yeah. So as far as city funds, we have some of the ability bond, 3.5 million dedicated to it. The main contribution is the federal funding piece, the community paths grant, 6 million. So our the urban renewal contribution is 4 million. The total project cost.
Yeah, it doesn't to me.
It's dedicated. So this is what a lot of the feedback solicitation's been, whether to go the linear style versus curvilinear style. So the curvilinear has on the east side is where it always going to be. It's at a critical junction where we have the two undercrossing the paths that come under Commercial Street Bridge is where they join. And also when you're on the commercial street side, where you know go down. So the way this approach would be is you bring people body. If you wanted to take the steps from here, you can step down, but the ramp follows. You ramp along the basically parallel to the creek. So you ramp across that, takes you through. And also from the ramp, if you wanted to take the ramp approach, you could take steps then to, or you could follow them. So in this scenario too, you can see these are the terraced retaining walls. Maybe more kind of follow that concept of the approach.
So going underneath Commercial Street and showing a pathway that breaks off from the main pathway.
Yeah.
Going to the west side,
Right.
so you can go upstairs on the west side of Commercial instead of the square.
Yeah.
Well, and then if all of this retaining wall stuff is happening, is that gonna be in conjunction with block?
It's also
Because they
free.
have to,
They already
so-
have an existing wall.
oh, okay, so they don't have to add.
Yeah,
Have to.
this is all specific to the whole, this is city property with the.
So, yeah, I know, except then, that I thought there was, aren't you doing the design on that? Yeah. Yeah, I'm saying 50, but I'm not 45, yeah. Isn't there some retaining and?
There is, there's a wall.
Jerry, happy,
Yeah, part of
additional?
it's just the location. So without having to take down what's already there. Just-
Far enough away, okay, because you know what I'm saying, you're gonna do all this and then they have to, you know.
Yeah. We don't anticipate we have seen anything yet where the wall has to change on that side, it depends on.
Right, 'cause you go-
I defer to the architect.
Well, that's right. I'm quite
Yeah.
right. Okay,
Yeah, so this would be specific to accommodating what you have to do to grade that path, so on the critical.
and that's it, yeah, I got you.
Then as you go on the trestle, to some more treatment to approach or part to path. Just one observation, yeah. The next one will be curved. I think, the way the walls are configured on the next one. Use both the pad and the walls, they were with concrete, so it's still within our,
Yeah, but that should
Scope,
be the deciding
but yeah,
factor right
that's,
there, right?
that's something to consider. I understand it's a little bit more expensive to do. This is what the, sorry, the rendering for this linear. The next one, sorry, this is a rendering of what that linear approach would look like. Curves that are always curves, yeah. So again, the overlook piece would be to the east here instead of between the trestle and the commercial street.
Bridges to use, but is this gonna flat? Yeah, it's just.
This is the commercial street version of Marion Street.
Okay.
Oh, this branding. This was set up. It's like-
I like the one.
So here's the curve and linear approach. And again, similar to the previous concept, it shows the overlook area between Mitchell Street and Russell. And the retaining walls are a little bit harder to see. We didn't have more of that curve. We all said this too. So
It's hard to see the difference.
yeah,
But it's curvy,
Is
it's
it something
strong.
that uses the chair?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, this sort of, yeah, this is a fuller meeting, so yeah, feel free to share it. We want as much feedback as possible.
I'm
So,
really excited. What's happening to the top.
Yeah.
I would be curious to hear if the neighborhoods.
yeah, yeah.
So
Free to share.
both of them have a connection from.
Yes. Yeah, hold that.
That's huge. I didn't know that.
Is the curvy style, is it just like an aesthetic difference, or is it something that follows more of like a natural path?
The way that Brian framed it is that, so OTAC is the engineer that's helping, that they're mimicking what they describe the linear approach, the curved linear approach to the one. So it's more of a much more like what you see it apart. So it feeds into the lines that you have as you want.
One thing I like about this design is I think that overlook area is gonna be visible to traffic. So people will see this beautiful feature, whereas the other one, it's tucked up in that corner where I would imagine the traffic on William Street wouldn't even be able to see us there. I think, yeah.
Well, and then here the traffic.
Just get the other is that there's eyes on this one more, right, from that same fashion, right, you'll see, okay, somebody's. So his head's there or whatever that you can see from above.
But
Could
couldn't,
help with managing the pathway so that they stay clear.
but couldn't they just do that linear and just make the overlooks there instead of one?
Yeah, that's some of the feedback.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the big
Or
thing.
it's not that you can.
And make the overlook bigger because we're saving $300,000, but we're home. Okay, let's move on.
Well, I don't know if that's the case, like you move it over there, I don't know what the difference is as far as like engineering and trading.
Yeah,
I'm curious just on the detail on it. I know that from my understanding is that this was held up for some years by the railroad, the reluctance to have an underpass. What was the solution to that? Is it a tunnel that's being built or
So we got the letter from them. that
Yeah,
says-
we've been working with them, and so that's one of the things that we're managing. I know they have concerns with things falling.
Right.
And that's on the renderings, you can't see it on this as well. When I send it to you, you can look at it more closely. They're proposed in the tubes, we've looked at it, we're like, no, because they're trying to make it fit with the curving, but then it's just a weird structure. So it's like, what is that thing?
It's a pipe.
Yeah, exactly.
Really big pipe.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, come on.
So, still working out that detail, but yes, we have to have some kind of overhead protective structure in coordination with the railroad.
Well, okay.
We'll have to have some kind of safety apparatus.
Hopefully it doesn't work too well.
No, yeah, sure, it's nice.
Just run.
Because that will be visible as you drive around. Yes.
We don't think about art. Offerings, do you already have like art being for that, or is it
No.
something that?
So it'll be something probably already. Release from the bank. Then hold up for that other. So in this scenario, they had like on the walls, they have like water, have lines showing. Stick representation. Near the creek. But no, that's not happening. Just the W walls, and so that's it.
Is this land after? Farm,
It's a good question on that.
solar requirement.
Yeah, I don't think so, I think
Are you
that's
sure?
more of a building like a structure. Where you could,
Building some structures with this.
yeah, I don't know if the structure here hopefully is not big enough to warrant it, I don't know where you put it unless you have to
So
decide.
you can move it, yeah, the dollars to somewhere else, but I'm just curious if that's in the budget or not.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything, I don't know we're tracking for pieces, so I don't know, let's push that motion, we have to do that. The public art piece, yes, so incorporating some kind of art.
Yeah, does anybody, you gonna decide on that team topic or who
Oh,
are
no, yeah,
Oh,
so you, it's your meeting, so you have,
Before we move on, like, maybe I actually have a question. I know that the Salem Main Street Association. What do they call them? Yes, they're gonna be putting up flower baskets. And they're doing it, I think, middle of May. And I know that, they're pretty much funding it fully by themselves. I think the costs are around like $40,000. And, I remember I spoke to the budget and we were talking about putting something maybe in there for doing our own flower baskets. Is that, do you recall that?
yeah, so we have it as part of the parking. And we have it as just general cleaning beautification, so it's all rolled up in that. We've been trying to go back and forth and see, exactly what the plan is and where coordinate, so we don't have. Right now, we don't have the effort to do our own flower baskets, right now it's a Main Street effort. So, again, we're happy to coordinate, I don't know where, like, the funding piece might come in.
Well, it
I don't
seems
know
like
where
it's
that
going to
conversation
be
is.
streamlined through them, much easier than us doing it ourselves or the city doing it. Especially very. But, what I heard was that they only got like 2,500 from the city. I mean, that's like.
I don't wanna check, I don't know.
Is there any way?
I know our interaction has been, give us plans, ideas, timing. I haven't heard anything specifically, so I'm.
Well, if I was to go back with them, like, hey, what would they need to provide? Receive some additional money or help with that.
Yeah, I just need to know. Plan implications. Costs, breakdown.
Is it like a request, like they need to put a request together, this is what we want?
Well, this is the first time, so I just need to see, the more detail that I have, we can review and internally and see like where. Oh, yeah, so it all works from that, so I know there's like a lot of interest around our washing. Get some those landscaping kind of things. So we'll draw from the same bucket, so just need understanding.
understand? Just because we're gonna have flowers, you can still put it down, put the caveat.
You have, yeah, we have everything that we can put up.
To have somebody that can take them out.
We will we'll look into it.
That's
We
okay,
talked about
because,
it.
you know, they're just sitting
Yeah,
there,
sure.
and then.
Yeah.
It just helps with the public, and it's
That's good.
festive. I'm glad you found
Yeah,
that.
store variant, right?
Cool. So what do you wanna learn about next?
So there's the follow-up to the survey, so I'll write
Right.
that. We'll we'll have urban rule updates, from like West Salem and other districts, so we'll have that. At the next meeting too.
Oh, yeah. So how's what's the strategy, I guess I say? The remarketing. 307 total parking spaces. But we sell permits. 31. That am I reading that right?
Budget, it's not, everybody's going to be the exact same time. It's not like Tuesday to Saturday. Residents. Right. So I think that's the basis of certain incentives. Allow.
I guess what my question is, we're trying to push people there, sort of, right? Pay down, but they don't want to pay. Push them here, and if they're selling 431. And let's say 400 show up and there's only 370 permitted parking spots. So there are 30 people who are probably gonna park in one of the free customer parking spots, and then we lose free customer parking spot, you know, so. I guess I'd be curious to understand now that this is never really a problem, because everybody's parking on the streets. But now I can see this starting to become a problem if the capacity in these parking structures continues to go up because more people are using them as they decide not to pay on the street, but. Maybe trying to understand what the long-term strategy of around this from your guys' standpoint, or at least what it's been, and maybe have that as kind of a presentation. One of these times to just.
I think it'll ultimately come down to. What we're trying to hear about it, we get to the point where it's, you know. Over capacity, starting to get feedback slightly. We're talking to really to see if there's a strategy. Yeah, it's a good problem to have. I think there's enough that's driving it, and where these parking structures are in capacity and. Everyone wants to park there.
That's
can't
my
park there?
parking structure, and I think maybe we have 5 spots there, and honestly, it's really full now, but it's pretty rare that there's not a spot, so it's less convenient than it used to be, but.
I know you can't get used to it, that's how I feel in Chemeketa, because it's the way it is here now. It's the same thing, they can custom the parking spot, but it's just.
I kind of wish I could say I was working, because it really sucks that they might have thought about that, but and it's sort of not a problem. For 6 days a week. It's a good thing about, because it's pretty full. And the free spots are never full. I think that's the frustrating thing, is we keep losing permanent spots from where the free spots will spots. The conference center continues to use a good portion of that. Well, but they're paying.
Dimensions of people pay for those spots.
I believe they do Pringle, aren't they supposed to do overflow to Pringle and not Liberty, even though it's across the street? Sheree always said that was the overflow parking, it was not ours.
Convention center was not allowed parking.
I'm sorry,
Convention center was not allowed.
that was my understanding,
You can-
I'm glad you're correct about
You can
that.
overflow to Crinkle Park Gate.
Plus they have their own.
So they're.
Yeah, they have their own.
Directed there,
Correct, there are signs that say,
but you don't have somebody watching where they go, so if they park in the free customer parking. If they're able to,
if
they can do it, you can be cited. But there are signs that say they can't park in there. There are numerous signs that are saying it's critical parking. It's for their.
It's just logically, it's more convenient to park at the green. Just is. So we see that a lot. I can't say the permits are on the side.
It's good. They can track and discuss. Yeah, sure, you don't want to get a position where upsetting people, but at the same time.
It's this, you're another 100 units of apartment going down the road here, and the structure's already.
So the hope is the Marion will be. Successful
Finally,
in this. Yeah,
That one's low.
lower capacity.
Yes, that may be a future topic.
I'd love to see, same on Main Street, these people just
Okay.
keep that relationship.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't their own money, right? The city used to give them $10,000, is that right? For beautification.
Used to give them something.
I feel like it was 10,000. So it's just on that board. And
Definitely have
maybe-
an economic district. So there's been a lot of different funding happening.
Looks like we haven't put all that, for beautification.
Oh, no, that's new, that's the but that'll
Well,
start
we
July.
can't give them money, we have to have a specific, you know. we can't
Yeah,
just,
well, that's
well,
where parking fund is a little bit more, it's our. It's tied to capital. Part. It's limited to.
Sure.
Where we interact with people downtown and where there's been. Safety, security, cleanliness, it's like cleanliness. So it's just making sure that those. That's not baskets of, yeah. Yeah, deterrent matters.
yeah, it's beautiful here.
Yeah, exactly.
But like really the biggest project that we checked on the last few years was holiday.
Yeah, no, it helps a lot.
The city was really supportive of that. Just maybe some expenses coming down the pipe. This month, it's like that. They didn't have this issues with the equipment that they thought that they would, so that saved money, but I think all of those lights were purchased. We just go, actually, only, I'm sure only replacement, so it would be good to have them.
They seem more cohesive of a group now, you know.
100%, yeah.
Can you, the residents downtown was stated, we were going to try to buy the trash cans with our boxes, it just kind of a version of one boxes. All this.
Eric, you're just in high demand today. You just said our plans were
That's a
hard.
minimal,
Yes,
it's hard piece.
Yes, I do plan to try to get the trash, yeah, just like the utility mass. I'm trying to be a little more specific. Trying to do just one art piece, so. You know, there's the utility box with the trash can. So it's a little, yeah, so it's kind of a one idea, one art piece for all of them. But yes, that is in the works of trying to.
What if they, how about something like the grade schools who are they're wrapping their own? Something like that, I mean, instead of purchasing, you don't say.
Yeah, they did that
Just
just
something
maybe with the
local.
water district or something, they did in the school. Contest with others.
Well, the art's already acquired by the city. We just put it on.
Well, I know that was, yeah. But I'm saying, so the trash cans and make it more fun, it's a trash can. Not Picasso. Well, I'm just throwing it out there, I mean, it just seems like too much stuff is standardized, so we're gonna be like every other town, there's a Chick-fil-A and an In-N-Out burger and a blah, 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 and there's nothing that says that,
Well, these are local artists
you know what I'm saying?
that are the practice.
Yeah.
I get your point.
But, you know, do something fun.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get mine to like mural that alley wall with fun kids. But
A colleague on the St. Lawrence Arts Commission who had indicated the wraps on the utility box got some pushback, like the Arts Commission wasn't happy that happened. Out their involvement or something, and I'm not trying to raise the stakes or a potential conflict, but is that gonna get in the way of the trash cans?
So the trash cans is kind of just starting, with the utility wraps, I don't know if I had a lot of pushback because it already started. Before I came on, I just finished it, and I think 2 were wrapped already before I got involved, and all of ours was pinned. Currently, right now, I'm looking at our Salem Art Commission is already selected, the city that's in the library at the civic center. I'm looking at that at the moment, to add to apps, but it's all just in draft going down. I know that I've been asked to add some more trash cans down to it, so I'm that.
Well, I really hope that they get wrapped and that the Arts Commission doesn't raise their authority or prevent it.
I worked with the manufacturer to design a can that needs the wrapping
Yeah.
with that in mind to continue to add it to them.
Good. You're-
Talked about opening up another seat on the board for residential. I do agree to have more of this.
really just need to replace Kiana.
Yeah, we do have one with Kiana who used to be resident, now she's out, so she's been sitting on, so we do have an opening. And as far as restructuring, we'll have to, you know, that's something that the group wants to consider, wrapped in, and the rules like the way that you have to provide the restructuring, so happy to work with you guys to bring a recommendation that go to the agency to have somebody open it up to.
Yeah, I feel like honestly, it's that's like as mentioned.
I feel like the residential is super important. It seems like it's also sort of a transition position.
There's a lot of passionate folks that are pretty much sitting at it, and I think they'd be excited to participate more.
Are we okay with turnover? Well, I think it's good. Just a question.
So it is currently open online to people, I mean, for someone to.
We're
taking, yeah, it's posted on there, but. Yeah, so we could take applications anytime,
So you can get
right
one
now.
more, right,
There's
yeah.
one open.
Yeah, once you mention that, it's like, okay, cool, I can go right now.
I did share my contact, because it gets difficult to manage that, because we apply it goes to people in the East Coast, I advise them, so sometimes they can get lost. It's the different status, and so they can reach out to me. They'll know to expect it.
Anything else? Are we ready to adjourn? Are you sure?
It's up to you.
Am I
Everybody.
allowed? All right then. Have a good weekend, everyone. Thank you for attending, and our next meeting is May 28th.
Take care.